All right, I want to go first to our international relations expert, Joanne. No, I'm kidding. Ambassador, all right, we haven't had you on since this horrible thing. Do you believe it's safe to say that Russia is responsible for the crash? Because if you know, everybody's pointing fingers, and you have Ron Paul now saying we're jumping to conclusions.
Yeah.
What do you see?
Well, obviously, it's Russia's fault ultimately. Nobody, I think, would say that they ordered the deliberate shooting down of an innocent passenger plane. But the fact is that by behaving in a belligerent, aggressive fashion, by supplying the separatists, by ginning the separatists up, by commanding and controlling them from Russian territory, by providing this kind of system, we may not have been able to foresee this precise tragedy, but it's entirely understandable that something like this happened. And I think the lesson to draw from this is you cannot permit Russia or anybody else to behave this way and allow the U.S.-led NATO alliance to let him get away with it.
Well, then that leads me to my next question before I move on to our other guests. What would you do if you were president? If President Bolton right now, because the sense I get, everybody's afraid of upsetting Putin. You don't want to paint him in a corner because he'll do something bad. And he knows that.
As opposed to what?
Exactly.
As opposed to what he's doing already?
Yeah.
I mean, I think you have to look at this strategically. I would begin to bring Ukraine into the NATO alliance. It's more than just supplying them with weapons. I'd go back to building a national missile defense system for the United States. This is to show Russia that they cannot act with impunity. And if people want sanctions, let's talk real sanctions, not these pinpricks that we've been engaged in. Let's bar all Russian financial institutions from any participation in American financial markets. That's a sanction.
They would go to other banks, but we would have to get France and Italy.
Then we would sanction those banks.
Yes. Okay. Gotcha.
Can I just, Mr. Ambassador, with all due respect, I get my news from Ron Paul, The Nation, and antiwar.com. So as far as I know, Russia had nothing to do with this.
It's true. It was, you know, actually they were aiming at Putin's.
Yes.
That was the first propaganda line.
Thank you.
No sane person believes that this was anybody other than the Russian separatists, perhaps under direct Russian command, perhaps acting somewhat based on their own training, but nobody else could conceivably be responsible.
Might I just point out that in approximately 12 hours, my wife is boarding a plane from Moscow to come home. So I happen to think that maybe Russia might be innocent, at least for the next 12 hours.
Let's put it this way. She's safe flying over Russia.
Yeah, that's true. So the jury's still out with me. I'm not sure who's guilty here. She's just got another 12 hours. Sonny, let's talk to you about wrestling, because I know how much you love wrestling.